Hello and welcome. My name is Nathalie Sanchez and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am the Interim Education Program Coordinator at the Vincent Price Art Museum. I would like to acknowledge and thank East Los Angeles College, our Job and Career Services, the Department of Art, the Museum Studies Certificate Program Faculty and Advisory Committee, the Vincent Price Art Museum Foundation and team, last but not least, the Alice L. Walton Foundation, for whose generous support helped make today's event possible. So thank you for joining us for our second VPAM Meetups. This one's focused on how you can stand out in your internship application and interview. We will be learning more about the Washington, D.C. Internship Program application, hearing from a program alum about their experience and advice, and preparing your resume and reviewing interview tips with our career counselor experts. So for today's event, we are excited to collaborate with ELAC's Career and Job Services team, who you'll meet in just a moment. And we invited actually one of our most recent alumni of the program to serve for our powerhouse panel presenters. So we're going to take a moment to allow each of our panelists to introduce themselves. Who would like to begin?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Olivas. I am part of the Career and Job Services team. I oversee our student employment piece. Welcome and thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Janet Huang. I'm the Director of the Career and Job Services, and we're excited to be here today. And again, welcome, everybody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kyrie. I'm a career mentor with the Career and Job Services Office. So welcome, everyone, and we're really excited that you're all joining us today.
Hello, my name is Gloria Ortega. I am the most recent part of the most recent cohort from the Smithsonian Internship Program with ELAC. I'm a current recent ELAC graduate, and thank you for being here.
Wonderful. So we will begin by first talking about the internship, the Washington, D.C. Internship Program. And then Gloria is going to be sharing a little bit from her perspective. And then we'll be hearing from our amazing team of career counselors. So we'll begin. The Washington, D.C. Internship Program is a full-time winter session internship opportunity designed to prepare the next generation of museum professionals. Formerly known as the Smithsonian Undergraduate Internship Program, the DC Internship is a museum studies pipeline program which provides ELAC students the opportunity to complete a month-long museum studies internship at the Smithsonian Institution or the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. The program is comprised of a week-long intern orientation with behind-the-scenes tours by leading museum professionals at Los Angeles-based museums and cultural centers, which would be happening the first week of January 2022. That would be followed by the next 4 weeks in which the interns would be traveling to Washington, D.C. for their internships. Interns work directly with a discipline-specific mentor at one of the Smithsonian museums or research centers or the National Gallery of Art, where they will learn about curatorial practice, archives, conservation, exhibition design, or museum education through project-specific and hands-on professional experiences. This internship is offered in conjunction with the Museum Studies Certificate Program at ELAC. The DC internship or intern will enroll in an Art 385, which is a directed study course, which would satisfy one of the course requirements for MSCP. The eligibility, as you see here, for this program is that interested applicants must be currently enrolled ELAC student, be able to travel domestically, eligible to work in the United States, and again, enroll in the course Art 385. Again, for more information about this program, you're welcome to go to the vincentpriceartmuseum.org website or the link below on the bottom of the slide if you go on VPAM's website under opportunities, which I'll also add in the chat. Now you might be thinking, how can I apply? If you are interested in applying, you would be going to either the Vincent Price Art Museum website, or there's a direct link here to the application. It is an online application with 4 components, which of course, we're looking at a deadline of June 18th. So hopefully with this event and information you get today, you will be well prepared to submit your application materials. And then now, in just a moment too, we'll be going over some resume components and with our career counselors team. Now, another thing to keep in mind when applying for this is there will be, instead of a cover letter, there will be a personal statement questions too, in fact. And so again, as part of the application, you would be responding to these 2 questions. And in addition to your resume, will also be asked to submit all of your unofficial transcripts from your undergraduate career. Okay, so you just compile that on a PDF and then you add it to this online application form. And then next, wanted to offer some resources for those interested in compiling your application materials. So we have here a guide, which I will be adding to the chat momentarily. It's a 5-step guide on how to best prepare to apply for the Washington, D.C. internship. Additionally, we are offering a worksheet for those interested in really preparing and drafting your personal statement responses. Okay, so you'll see a link here, which again, I'll add in the chat momentarily. And lastly, if you have any further questions, or if you want to share this information with peers and colleagues, there's also a FAQ that you'll find on the main website. All right, wonderful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over our mic to Gloria to share a little bit more about her internship experience.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you for being here. I'm just going to share briefly some tips and highlights of my personal experience interning. I applied and I was part of this most recent cohort, which would be the 2021 remote cohort. So I had a different experience, I think, than the traditional other cohorts that actually got to go to Washington. However, my remote experience was still very exciting. And I just wanted to go over like my personal story and recommendations. So as a non-traditional student, this being the second time that I attempted to and started going to college, I began my art history career at ELAC. I'm a former student of Dr. Singh as well. So I really find that the best piece of advice that I could offer in writing your personal statements are highlighting your personal narratives, where you come from, why you're currently there, and where you want to see yourself in the future. I also really recommend highlighting your major, passions, and experience. My major originally was studio arts. I then switched to art history after taking Dr. Wendy Brown or Professor Wendy Brown's courses. And I remember including that in my first personal statement that I had applied for. Highlighting my passions outside of the museum world. If you're interested in art, graphic design, animation, content marketing, really focusing on that, because it doesn't always have to be about the very traditional art space. And your experiences. So my personal experiences, I did have some other internships under my belt at that point. But even if you don't, it's very, I think, useful for potential employers, or especially this internship for VPAM to get strong sense of who you are. So VPAM really cares, and Joseph and Natalie worked with us, really focusing on who we are and what we can bring to any academic space, and not only what this internship can get for you, but what you can also bring to the internship. So that little image is just a small little image of the National Portrait Gallery that I interned under. And so my hindsight advice, looking back, is that I really wished I would have planned ahead of time. I did leave my personal statement to about a day and a half, and I wish I would have actually planned it out. So thankfully, there's resources now that exist, like this worksheet that Natalie is going to be providing, that will definitely help you break the content down. I luckily got to parallel my interests with the internship placement. So as an art historian, I realized that I had a very strong interest in like post-colonial theory and how it affects museums, and how colonization kind of has influenced museums historically. And I remember also specifically highlighting that in my personal statement, because, and my resume as well, because I wanted something that would further my research going forward as a student. So my advice is to be yourself, cliche but true, is very, I think, useful in that sense, because don't be afraid to highlight what you're really interested in. Research the institution. The portrait gallery for me was very interesting because it has a long legacy. There's a very specific type of art that exists there. And if you do, and when you do get this internship, I would say find what interests you, so that way you can reach out to your mentors to also broaden your horizons. Find your niche. Again, mine was, my own personal interest is just research, but my fellow cohort was also into library science, animation, ceramics, just anything really can really be explored and strengthened for your benefit. And go for it. Just don't be scared. And I think that there's a lot of people here to support you, and there's a lot of resources available. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing. We really value and appreciate your perspective. And yes, I failed to mention that this past cohort that you were a part of was the first time we had a remote internship. However, we are anticipating and hopeful that the 2022 internship will be in person. So thank you very much for that.
Next slide, please. Okay, so at the Career and Job Services, we have a lot of great services to help you guys in this internship process. And we have a lot of great services for you and just in your career path too. So in your journey of becoming an art major or whatever major you want to do, we have many different services, and we'll play the video. That way you guys won't have to listen to me, and you'll just watch the video and see all our great services. Can we please play the video?
Hello everyone, my name is Carolyn Sevilla, and I'm here to share with you what we offer at Career and Job Services. So at our center, we help students explore, prepare, and connect. So with that being said, our career counselors can help you explore your major and career options. So what does that mean? So if you're currently an undecided student, you're not sure what you want to study, what you want to major in, what you want to pursue as a career, we can help you explore those options. We have free career assessments where you can learn a little bit more about your interests, your personality style, environments that you might want to be in. And we also take a look a little bit at your values, okay? So what's important to you? If you currently have a declared major, but you're not really sure what you can do with that major, we can help you also. For example, many students at ELAC are interested in psychology, they're interested in child development, or administration and justice, and we have a wide range of majors at ELAC. We can help you explore those options and career paths connected to those majors. Prepare. We also help students with their job preparation skills. So as you begin looking for a full-time job, an internship, or a part-time position, you're going to need a resume and a cover letter. We can help you create and update your resume so that you stand out from other candidates. We also can help you with your interview skills. So if interviews make you really nervous, we definitely can facilitate a mock interview, which I highly recommend to give you some practice. And then connect. We help you connect to employers through job fairs, through workshops, through our online job database, the College Central Network. In the College Central Network database, you can search for part-time, full-time internships and on-campus employment exclusive to ELAC students. If you've never had a job, we can also help you search for volunteer opportunities in the local community. So to connect with us, you might be wondering, how do I get all these services? You can visit us today at career.elac.edu, find the Connects Ed card on the homepage, and click on the Schedule Appointment image. Follow the steps to schedule your appointment. If you have any quick career questions, make sure to check us out on our live chat. And we look forward to working with you soon. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts and stay tuned for more videos on our YouTube channel.
Thank you for playing that video. Next slide.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over the resume. So you all may be asking yourself, what goes on a resume? And I'm gonna go over some of the common resume sections. Now, it's important to note that resumes need to be tailored specifically to you, your experiences, and the position that you're applying for. What we recommend for students is having like a master, kind of like a master document, your master resume, where it includes all of the content that you could potentially use on your resumes. And as you're applying to particular positions, you edit that master document so that, again, it is tailored to the specific position that you are applying for. So when you're looking at these common resume sections, if some of these don't apply to you or you don't want to include them in your resume, you don't have to. We're just going to go over some of the common sections so that way you're aware of what a resume could look like. The first one is your contact information. And now this section really it has to go on your resume. When you're submitting your resume, you want to make sure that an employer knows who you are and how to reach you if they want to invite you for an interview. So your contact information should include your name, your first and last name, your location. It's becoming more of a common practice to not include your full address on your resume. So for your location, you can just put your city, state, and zip code, and that's sufficient. You also want to include an email. Make sure your email is a professional email. So nothing with like any kind of nicknames, anything kind of funny like that. You want it to be professional. You know, your email could just be your first and last name at gmail.com or at yahoo.com or whatever domain it is that you want to use. And then you also want to make sure that you include your phone number on there so they can reach you. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's an optional thing to include in your contact information, the link to your LinkedIn profile. Now, the next section is the objective. And this is an optional section to include. And the objective is that's really what it is. You would state what the objective is for this resume. So you would state the position that you're applying for, and you can include any career goals that you may have specific to the position. The summary of qualifications is another optional section to include in your resume. And this basically lists your achievements, skills, and experiences. But again, those that are applicable and related to the position that you're applying to. The next section, or just one of the main sections, is your education. For students, we recommend that students list their education section at the very top of their resume, just so that employers know that you are a current student and that you are pursuing a degree. In your education section, you want to make sure that you include the degree that you're working towards and make sure you spell it out. So don't put AA, put Associates of Arts or Associates of Science. You want to include the institution. And again, you want to spell it out. Instead of just abbreviating ELAC, you want to put East Los Angeles College on the resume. Don't assume that all employers know what ELAC is going to stand for. And then you also want to list your anticipated graduation rate or transfer graduation date or transfer date. I said rate, sorry, on there. So again, so that way they know when you are going to be transferring or graduating from your institution. The related coursework / projects section is optional. We recommend this section for any student who may be have very limited work experience. It's a great way to highlight some of the skills and other experiences that you may have that may not fall under the traditional work experience. So related coursework. So for this particular internship, you can list any related courseworks or projects that you've done, any collaborations that you've done. That's just a great way to highlight some of your other experiences. And then another section, and this is kind of like a big chunk of your resume, usually is your experience. And your experience can include a couple of different kinds of experience. It can include like professional or work experience. It can include internships, whether they were paid or unpaid, any research experiences that you've done. So if you worked with a specific instructor for a semester-long research project, you want to include that and put that information on your resume. And then another experience that you can definitely include is your volunteer experience. Another common section is the extracurricular activities. And again, this is optional, but if you are part of any kind of student organization on campus, or if you took a leadership opportunity on campus, you definitely want to highlight those things and you can put that under the extracurricular activities. Your honors and awards are similar. It's another optional section. And in here, you would list anything, any honors. So if you graduated on the dean's list, if you received a scholarship, you can put that on your resume. If you received an award at the volunteer organization that you've been volunteering at for the last 1.5 years for Volunteer of the Year, then that's something that you can definitely list under this section. And then the last section that you definitely want to include is your skills section. And your skills section is going to have 2 different kinds of skills. It's going to have your hard skills or your technical skills. So this would include things like your language skills, your computer skills, any like computer programming skills, typing speed, and you want to make sure that you indicate your proficiency level. So if you speak a second language, what is your proficiency level? Are you more of conversational, or can you translate it, read it, write it, things like that? And then the other section of skills is your soft skills. So this would be more like your communication style, your time management ability, your problem solving skills, your flexibility or adaptability, or your ability to work in a team. So these are just different sections that can be included on your resume. Again, I just really want to emphasize that your resume is going to be tailored to you and the position that you're applying for. So no 2 resumes are going to look exactly alike. Some of these common sections, may not be applicable to you, and that's okay. We encourage you all to schedule an appointment with our office if you have any specific questions about your resume. If you have other things that you want to add, but you don't know where to add it, schedule an appointment with one of our staff members, and we'd be happy to go over it with you, provide you some feedback. We do have our career resource guide. It's on our website, career.elac.edu. And the resource guide is really great because it provides examples of all of these common resume sections. We also provide different resume samples in the resource guide. So because no 2 resumes look alike, we provide a variety of different examples, so that way you can kind of look like what your resume could potentially look like. But again, it's just really important to remember it's going to be specific to you. It's going to be specific to the position. No 2 are going to look alike. So really, we really do encourage you all to schedule an appointment with one of us so that we can kind of go over it. If you have any questions or concerns about, how your resume is looking, especially because this application is coming up next month. So really, come meet with us and we can help you out with your resume. And next slide, please. Thank you. And so this is just one sample of a resume. Again, we have the contact information that should really go at the top. That's kind of like your header. For students, again, as I mentioned, we recommend that you list your education first. So that's going to be the first item. If you have any related coursework, if you're going to include that optional section, it would kind of go under your education section. The next section would be your work experience. We recommend that you use bullet form. So don't use full sentences or paragraphs in your resume. Really, when you're describing any kind of experience, you want it to be concise but specific, and you want to use the bullet point format. And in this sample, this particular person had a volunteer experience, so they listed that separate from their work experience. This particular person also had extracurricular activities, so they listed it, but as you notice, they don't have an honors or award section, and it's because it wasn't applicable for this particular resume. And then last but not least is your skills section. So again, just to emphasize that this is just one example, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is how your particular resume needs to look like. Please schedule an appointment with one of us and we'd be happy to go over your resume and give you feedback. Next slide, please.
There was one question about a resume that was added to the chat, and so I thought I'd go ahead and address it or ask, what is the length of an average resume?
Yeah, good question. So yes, we do recommend the average resume should be about 1 page long, and it should be in a PDF format when you are submitting your resume, just because the reason why we do PDF is because if your Word on your computer is a different version or a different year from the employer, so when they download it, then the formatting looks funky, and it like all the time that you took to make sure that all your dates aligned and all your bullet points aligned, it can kind of go out the window if their version is different from your version. Or if you're using Google Docs and then you download it, I know I've downloaded Google Docs to Microsoft, and the formatting just kind of doesn't always align. So we recommend that you submit your resume in a PDF format, so that way it doesn't, none of those margin kind of issues kind of pop up. And then the recommended length is 1 page. For undergraduate students, if you are, a graduate student or someone who has a lot of experience under their belt, then 2 pages would be the maximum. But again, it's just kind of case by case. So you definitely would want to meet with us so we can kind of go over that. Just keep in mind that most employers don't spend a lot of time on your resume. So you don't want to do a lengthy document that's 2-3 pages long, because chances are they may not read all of it. So you just want to be concise and to the point, but you want to make sure that you highlight the most relevant stuff. And because resumes need to be tailored to each position, that's why we recommend having like a master document that could be 3-4 pages long, but then as you apply to particular positions, you tailor it and you kind of cut it down to that 1 page, maybe 2 page limit. Okay.
Thank you, Carrie. A lot of great information. All right. So let's say you submitted your resume and the internship or the employer, they say, you know what, we love you, so congrats. Then you're on the next step. You made it past the first hurdle, so you want to congratulate yourself. And now you're ready to prep for your interview. So this is the fun part. And when I say prep, I really mean prep. You want to really prepare. So on the slide, you see that there's 3 different pieces here. So before the interview, you want to get ready for it. And then during the interview, and then after the interview. All right. So now that you're ready to go, they want to see who you are. They want to see your personality. Now they want to talk to you. So the purpose of a resume is not for you to get the position. The purpose of a resume is get you in the door so they can actually talk to you and see who you are. And now is the time for them to say, you know what, we love you, we want to take you. So before the interview, very important, you do your research. Do your research about this internship position and any other future positions you're applying for. You want to get more information about it. And the easiest way right now is everything's on the internet, right? You can look at their website, you can look at the flyer. So the internship, for the VPAM internship, the DC one, look at the flyer. There's a lot of great information there, or you could probably Google it and find more information. That way you have information to talk about when you go into the interview. So some questions to think about. When you go in, you want to have a lot of things in your brain to say, because believe me, you're going to get nervous. Everybody gets nervous. So there are some things that you want to do to help relieve that nerve, right? Feel prepared. So you'll notice here in the middle where it says during your interview, it says breathe, slow down, and smile. Those are 3 key things I want you to remember when you go into an interview. Because we get nervous and what happens? Our brain freezes up, right? And we don't know what to say at times. So if you slow your breath down and take a couple of deep breaths, you're getting oxygen into your brain and you're able to think about what you want to say. And they'll help you to slow down. And when you speak to them, then you'll be able to articulate yourself in a professional manner and they'll remember what you're saying. And when you smile, you bring on that whole different demeanor, right? It seems like you're interested. So to add to that, when you get the information and you do your research, even if your brain freezes up, you'll have things to say to them. So questions to prepare. One good question is, think about your uniqueness. Rule of thumb is tell me about yourself. If someone already asked you that, and that's a very basic question, right? Not every internship, or maybe not even this internship, is going to ask you to tell you about yourself. But if you prepare for information about that, think about your uniqueness, think about your skills, your education. Then again, you have things in your brain to say when they ask you questions relatable to that. Second thing to think about is, why do you think they would choose you over somebody else? Why would they choose Jessica over Gloria, right? Because Jessica's unique in her own way, Gloria's unique in her own way. But they want to see that uniqueness, so you got to express that, right? And then the second layer is you're adding that unique layer to that position, right? So this internship you're applying for, why would they choose you to go to DC as opposed to somebody else? What are you going to bring them? So when you've done that research about the position or about that company or about the internship, then you're relating your skills and your tasks, and you're saying, look, employer, or look, internship, I can do this, I've done this, that I could apply over here to your internship. And you're connecting the dots to them. Okay. The next thing that you want to prepare for is think about 2 great, wonderful qualities about yourself. What are 2 or maybe 3 strengths that you have, or maybe even 4? Have more behind your back so you have more to say, right? It could be the fact that you graduated from ELAC or your degree, or maybe it could be a soft skill that you have. You speak another language, or you've taken some special certificates, right? So think about maybe 2 to 4 strengths that you have. And also you got to think about the downside too. So maybe 2 to 4 weaknesses or 2 to 4 challenges that you have. And the great thing about thinking about this ahead of time is if they ask you a question that stumps you, you'll have something to say. Because a lot of times, the secret is sometimes the answers, you could apply them to all the different questions that they give you if you relate it back to you. So with the weakness, it's helping prepare your mind to think about a negative and turning it into a positive, right? So let's say, for example, this internship is asking you if you've already graduated and you have your degree in art. And let's say you don't, right? You're not graduating until June. Well, that could be a weakness that you're going to turn into a positive, because you never want to leave anything negative in an interview. You always want to turn it back into a positive, because that's what they're going to remember. So if I don't have my degree yet, that's okay. Be upfront about everything. Never, ever lie about anything. Bring it up, address it. I don't have my degree now, but I'm working on it and I will be graduating in June. Or that certificate that you're interested in me getting, I don't have it yet, but you know what? I'm working on it. Or I'm interested in getting it. How can I find more information about it, right? And you want to think about questions that you want to ask them too. So prepare those questions ahead of time. What can you ask them when you're in the interview? What would you want to know about them? What would you want to know about the internship? Maybe about the process, right? Not only are you asking questions, but it shows more interest. Some basic questions that you could ask, the rule of thumb that I usually go to when I tell students is maybe ask about the internship itself or about the position. Maybe when they're going to respond back to the candidate, right? Because after the interview, we might think, okay, they're going to respond back to the candidate, maybe this week, maybe next week, but they might not have called yet. But if I ask them and they know the time frame, maybe it might take them a month because it's a long process. Anytime you apply for positions that is in the public sector, working for the government, the city, the state, county, a lot of times they got to go through a lot of red tapes. So sometimes I know for ELAC, it takes us a month to get back to employers at times, right? Carrie, Jessica? So a lot of times you're wondering, well, what's going on? So just because it takes a month doesn't mean that they're not interested in you. Maybe it's got to go through several different channels for them to make that decision. Okay, and that's an okay question to ask. The next thing is practice. Practice with us. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you guys. You guys have paid the tuition at ELAC. That's what that fee goes for, is all our great services at ELAC. So make an appointment with us and we could practice in a panel interview, right? Because some positions, they have panel interviews. You might be one candidate and have 4 different pairs of eyes staring at you. That's even more nerve-wracking at times. So prepare with us or prepare with somebody else, right? Maybe somebody at home that you could practice with. Practice in front of the mirror, right? If you make it a point with the career counselor, you can practice with the different career counselors and you have different faces looking at you, and we could practice different questions and different answers with you too, right? All right, so now that you've prepared, you're in the interview. So you got to dress the part. Great thing about Zoom or on any of these virtual things is we're looking in this box right here, right? We can't see anything beyond this wonderful box. So you can't see what's beyond my screen. You can't see what's behind my screen because I've got a background. So I might have 10 different Post-its up on my computers reminding me what to say to the camera. And you can't see that. Maybe I'm sitting down, I'm standing up. So I might be wearing shorts because it might be 100 degrees in my room. But that's okay. They're only seeing from the waist up. So this box is important. Dress the part in here. Look professional in here, right? It could be business casual, depending on the position, right? If it's formal, you got to put that suit on. You got to put that jacket on. Okay. Some things to think about when you're in the interview is the soft skills. So the nonverbal cues. So again, we're in that box. It's very engaging. We're just looking at the screen. So make sure to try to make eye contact, especially if it's panel. You got 4 people on here. Make eye contact with each and one of them. It might not seem like they could see you, but they probably can, right? If I'm looking at Jessica and I'm looking at Talia, they might see that, notice that, okay, I'm actually making eye contact with them, right? It makes you more engaging. Going back to the breathe, slow down, and smile, right? That hits up on the attitude, gives you that positive attitude when you do smile. You look more engaging and you look more friendly and more personable, especially if you're applying for an internship or position where you're working with other people. You want to show that engagement, right? Now, if you're applying for a position that's going to be data processing, or maybe you're working in a back room by yourself, it's okay. Still smile. You still seem engaging to the employer, to whoever's interviewing you. All right, so after the interview, so let me continue with the interview. Virtual etiquette. Everything's virtual right now. In the future, it might still be virtual. They might still conduct virtual interviews. So going back to our little box, you only see what's in my box. I've got a background up. If you've got your laundry back there and you forget, or somebody is walking around making lunch, they're gonna see all that. We get it, you're home, I'm home too, but this is an interview. You have to show that professionalism, right? So if you got a lot going on back there, you can't help it, put up a virtual background. If you don't have a nice, pretty background like we do at the ELAC, that's okay. You could hit the screen to make it blurred so they can't see the details of it, okay? Because again, this is, you still have to show that professionalism. Noise. Try to wear your earpieces if you can. That way you're minimizing the background noise. I've got my window open, right? So if I've got the UPS truck driving by or the trash truck is driving by, you guys are going to hear it. So try to find a quiet place for that interview. We've had interviews where students are walking around and they're in the neighborhood talking to us. What is that going to signify to the person who's interviewing you, right? Even for that half an hour, maybe go somewhere quiet if you can, okay? Because it's gonna make a difference for them. Now, you'll notice our screen names for the students are here. Notice our screen names on here. We have our name and it says where we're located, right? Mine says Janet Career and Job Services. Utilize that. Change your name to be your first and last name, right? Because you have maybe half an hour for them just to see you in this box. If you put your name on it, it's going to be more memorable. So right now, it's all about that little detail that's going to matter. Another thing to think about, and if this is appropriate, you want to ask whoever's interviewing you if it's okay to take notes. Even though they can't see my hands, I might be taking notes. You want to, again, make it obvious. You want to be engaging. You want to be upfront about everything. So ask the interviewer, is it okay if I take notes? Because if you were in person, you might not be able to, but don't take advantage of the fact that you're behind a screen, right? Because it's even more important that you build that trust with the interviewer because they might be your future manager or your future bosses. And you want to be as straight up front and as trusting as you can with them right from the start. Okay. All right. So now you're done with the interview. Woohoo. What do you do after? Right. So there's some things that you want to do. You still want to connect with them, regardless if you know you got the position or not. That's not what's important here. What's important is to create that connection and to network with them. Send them a thank you email if you can. If you're comfortable, you can send them a thank you card in the mail. Okay. Right now, it's easier to just send everything to email. And what's good about that too is, let's say in the interview, you feel like, oh my gosh, like these two other questions, I don't know if I answered it right. I don't know what I said. I don't remember. So in the thank you email, address it in there. Right? Let them know, I've noticed you asked me about my unique skill of speaking Chinese. I don't know if I answered that properly. Let me give you a little more information about that and put that in there. That way it's making it more memorable, right? It's not a requirement, but right now the rule of thumb is making yourself stand out in a positive manner because you might be competing with 10 people, 100 people, you don't know. So again, what is it going to make it memorable about you that they're going to want to be in touch with you and say, you know what, I really like Talia. I really want to, maybe talk to her again for a second interview, or maybe I want to offer the position to her. Right? Okay. And if you need help with any of this, again, the resource guide is listed at the bottom of the page on career.elac.edu. That is our website. And on that website, you could always make an appointment with us too. We are at the center from 8 o'clock to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, so no excuses. You could always make an evening appointment. And nowadays, we're getting a lot of students coming in for the evening. A lot of times students are not awake till noon, and that's okay. We are open till 4 p.m. on Fridays too. And our appointments are half an hour for an hour, depending on what the reason for the appointment is. All right.
Hi, everyone. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our student employment services piece and how you can continue to find out more information about this internship in case, we wrap up today and you're like, oh oh, I forgot all the details. Where do I go get more information? Where do I find other internships? What do I do next? So the wonderful thing about our center is that we have a job board, a digital virtual job board. I don't know how many of you have actually visited, gone to it, stopped by, logged in. If you haven't, I'm here to tell you about it. So we have our job board. It's called College Central Network. As you might have noticed on our video, we have a link that you can go and access. The way you're going to get to our job board is by visiting our career website, so career.elac.edu, and then clicking on this icon that's going to be located on the right-hand side of your page, and it's called College Central Network. The beauty is that all of our students are probably already pre-registered. So what that means is that our center pre-registers your account. So you just have to go in, activate the profile. Once you go in, hit activate your profile, you'll have access to the job database. Within the job database, you'll see all of the features that we have here on the right side of the screen. So when you log in, you're able to search all our school's jobs that are exclusively for ELAC students. You can search all the internships that are available through ELAC and through the consortium agreement that we have with other institutions and other colleges. And there's a lot of other really cool things that you can do on here. You can search on-campus positions, off-campus positions. You can even use some templates that we have on here to help you build your resume. So say, you took all the information from today's session. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to go open Microsoft. I'm going to get started on my resume, but how do I get it with all those fancy bullets and, looking nice, like in the template? Like, what do I do for that? So the really awesome thing is that in College Central Network, you have some different templates that you can use. If you want to learn the difference about a functional resume, you can use that. If you wanted to learn about a chronological resume, you can use that too. And the beauty of it is, it's all based on your experience, because like we mentioned, every resume is unique. All of our experiences are different. Everything that we bring to the table is going to be different. So we want to highlight that and make sure that, you use the right template that's going to be fitting of your experiences and your situation and what's going to make you stand out as the star candidate. So definitely log into our job database so you can start playing around with the resume. Say if you have a resume, but you haven't updated in a couple of years and you want to give it a fresh new look because we're in different times now and you just have all these wonderful experiences that you've got, go into the database, start looking and start downloading some of the templates. There's so many opportunities for you to explore and stand out as a candidate. If you have already logged into CCN, like we call it, College Central Network, and you're stuck and you don't know what to do, we're here to help you, right? We want you to navigate the platform, just look around. The cool thing is that we actually have the internship opportunity listed in CCN right now. So you can actually go in there, take a look, and start saving it. You can download it to your computer, save it for later, bookmark it, save it as one of the jobs that you want to bookmark to apply for. And you can follow the directions that are on there on how to apply and save it. And as you're writing your resume, definitely try to cater your resume to the position, right? Make sure that you're using terms and verbiage that are located in the position to help you stand out. And if you're unsure on how to do that, then our wonderful career counselors are here to help you. Our career mentors are here to help you to make sure that you are standing out and you are making yourself shine. So if you have any questions about College Central Network, you want to learn more about it, you want to explore, I am more than happy to assist you in navigating this job database. We have some handbooks and a couple videos that we're more than happy to share with you. And if you want to explore this site, say you've gone in it before and you're like, whoa, what do I do here? This is confusing. Don't worry. We were all there at one point and we will help you navigate it together. So our email address is down at the bottom. You can reach me at studentemployment@elac.edu. And I'm more than happy to talk to you one-on-one about CCN or just help you navigate the platform. If you want a quick navigational information session, I'm happy to assist you with that. You can go ahead and take down our email address and we will connect with you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I wanted to extend a huge thanks to all of you, of course, for sharing. And of course, I know Janet might have wanted to also say that we would love to stay in touch. So here's our information for both VPAM and ELAC's Job and Career Services, Instagram accounts, as well as email and website. Janet, did you want to add anything further?
No, I was just going to reiterate what you were just saying with our connection here. But might as well, since I'm talking, is our social media. If you get onto our social media, we do post different positions all the time. And we do have a lot of great career resources on there. So connect with us on social media. And we have a lot of great fun stories that we put up on Instagram that is informational and also fun too. And that was it. And good luck with the internship, everybody. Good luck in applying, and we are definitely here to help you guys with that. And if you don't, let's say you don't get the internship and you're looking for other positions, you could definitely connect with us. Jess has, she has the information for the on-campus positions too. So definitely connect with her at our website and our email.
Thank you.